If you are over 60 and your legs feel heavy, tired, or your feet are often cold by the end of the day, there is something specific happening in your circulatory system that most people never connect to what they are eating, and more importantly what they are cooking with. Today we are going to talk about one oil, a single cooking oil that cardiologists, vascular specialists, and nutrition researchers consistently point to as one of the most powerful dietary tools available for supporting blood flow and vascular health in the aging body. Not a supplement, not a medication. A cooking oil that you can add to almost every meal starting today, and that has decades of research behind what it does specifically for the blood vessels that supply the legs, feet, and peripheral circulation of the body. Stay with us until the end, because the mechanism behind how this oil works at the cellular level is the part that explains why it is so effective, and once you understand it, you will never look at your cooking oil the same way again. The oil we are talking about is extra virgin olive oil, and before you think this sounds too familiar to be genuinely impactful, let us be clear about something. There is a significant difference between knowing that olive oil is healthy in a vague, general sense, and understanding specifically what it does to the blood vessels supplying your legs and peripheral circulation when consumed daily over time. That specific understanding is what most people with leg circulation concerns have never been given, and it is what this video is here to provide. Let's start with the basics of why leg circulation specifically becomes a problem after 60, because this context is what makes the olive oil research so directly relevant. The circulatory system in the lower body faces a unique challenge that the rest of the body does not. Blood in the leg veins must travel upward against gravity to return to the heart, and the arteries supplying the legs must push blood all the way to the feet and toes, the furthest point from the heart. As people age, several changes occur simultaneously that compromise the circulation. The arterial walls, which should be smooth, flexible, and elastic to accommodate the pulsing of blood flow, gradually lose their elasticity and become stiffer. The inner lining of blood vessels, called the endothelium, becomes less functional with age, losing its ability to produce nitric oxide, a compound that causes blood vessels to dilate and allows blood to flow freely. Chronic low-grade inflammation, which increases with age, causes damage to blood vessel walls and promotes the development of atherosclerotic plaques that narrow arterial diameter. And the venous valves in the leg veins, which normally prevent blood from pooling downward, weaken with age and allow blood to accumulate in the lower legs rather than returning efficiently to the heart. The result is the heavy, tired legs, the ankle swelling, the cold feet, and in more advanced cases the cramping pain when walking that so many seniors experience and so many simply accept as inevitable aging. It is not inevitable, and this is where extra virgin olive oil becomes directly relevant. The primary mechanism through which extra virgin olive oil benefits leg circulation comes from its effects on the endothelium, that inner lining of blood vessels. Endothelial function, which is the ability of this lining to produce nitric oxide and regulate blood vessel dilation, is one of the most important determinants of peripheral blood flow, and endothelial dysfunction is one of the earliest and most significant changes in vascular aging. Research has consistently found that the polyphenol compounds in extra virgin olive oil, particularly oleocanthal and hydroxytyrosol, support endothelial function in ways that improve nitric oxide production and allow blood vessels to dilate more freely in response to the demands of blood flow. When blood vessels in the legs can dilate appropriately in response to circulation needs, blood flows more easily to the feet and toes, the cold extremities warm up, the oxygen supply to leg muscles improves, and the feeling of heavy tired legs that comes from insufficient circulation begins to resolve over time. The anti-inflammatory properties of extra virgin olive oil are the second major mechanism driving its circulation benefits, and this is an area of research that has expanded significantly over the past 2 decades. Oleocanthal, the compound in extra virgin olive oil responsible for the distinctive peppery sensation at the back of the throat when you consume a high-quality oil, functions similarly to ibuprofen in terms of its anti-inflammatory mechanism, inhibiting the same inflammatory enzymes. But unlike ibuprofen, which carries significant kidney and gastrointestinal risks with regular use, oleocanthal provides this anti-inflammatory effect as a dietary compound without the adverse effects. For leg circulation, the anti-inflammatory benefit is directly relevant because chronic vascular inflammation is one of the primary drivers of atherosclerosis, the plaque buildup that narrows arteries and reduces blood flow to the legs. Regular consumption of extra virgin olive oil, with its oleocanthal content, provides a consistent low-level anti-inflammatory effect on blood vessel walls that over time reduces the inflammatory activity driving plaque development and vascular narrowing. The effect of extra virgin olive oil on blood lipids provides a third mechanism for its circulation benefits. Olive oil is predominantly monounsaturated fat, specifically oleic acid, which has been extensively studied for its effects on cholesterol profile. Oleic acid supports higher levels of HDL cholesterol, often called good cholesterol, which plays a role in removing cholesterol from blood vessel walls, and reduces levels of oxidized LDL cholesterol, which is the form of LDL that most directly contributes to atherosclerotic plaque formation. Multiple large-scale studies, including research from the PREDIMED study which followed thousands of people comparing olive oil-enriched Mediterranean diets to control diets, found significantly lower rates of cardiovascular events and better vascular function in those consuming extra virgin olive oil regularly. The polyphenol content of extra virgin olive oil also supports platelet function in ways that benefit leg circulation. Platelets are the blood cells responsible for clotting, and when platelets are overly sticky and prone to aggregating, they can form small clots in the already narrowed blood vessels of the legs, further reducing circulation. Compounds in extra virgin olive oil have been found to reduce platelet aggregation, meaning they make blood less prone to excessive clotting within vessels, supporting more freely flowing blood in the peripheral circulation of the legs and feet. This anti-platelet effect, combined with the endothelial function improvement and the anti-inflammatory action, creates a comprehensive vascular benefit that addresses leg circulation from multiple angles simultaneously. Now let's talk about the practical details, because understanding why extra virgin olive oil helps is only useful when combined with knowing how to actually use it effectively. The first and most important practical point is the distinction between extra virgin olive oil and regular or refined olive oil, because these are not equivalent products from a vascular health perspective. Extra virgin olive oil is made by cold pressing olives without heat or chemical processing, which preserves the polyphenol compounds including oleocanthal and hydroxytyrosol that are responsible for most of the vascular health benefits we have discussed. Regular or refined olive oil has been processed using heat and sometimes chemicals that remove many of these polyphenol, leaving primarily the fatty acid profile without the anti-inflammatory and endothelial supporting compounds. For circulation benefits specifically, extra virgin olive oil is the only form that provides the full benefit. The amount consumed also matters, and this is another area where most general advice fails to be specific enough to be useful. The research that has found significant cardiovascular and vascular benefits from olive oil used daily intakes of approximately 4 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. This is significantly more than the drizzle most people think of when they consider using olive oil. 4 tablespoons as a daily total across all meals, used for cooking as a salad dressing base, drizzled over vegetables, or stirred into soups, is the amount that research has associated with meaningful vascular benefit. The quality indicators on the label matter more than most people realize when selecting an extra virgin olive oil for health purposes. The harvest date indicates how recently the oil was pressed, and fresher oil contains significantly higher polyphenol content than older oil, because polyphenol degrade with time and light exposure. Oils that list a harvest date and that are consumed within 12 to 18 months of that date provide the highest polyphenol content. Dark glass bottles protect the oil from light degradation of polyphenol. Beyond olive oil, the broader dietary pattern that maximizes its circulation benefits for seniors is worth discussing, because olive oil works most powerfully as part of a dietary pattern rather than as an isolated intervention. The Mediterranean diet, which features extra virgin olive oil as its primary fat, also includes abundant vegetables, fruits, legumes, whole grains, fish, and moderate amounts of other animal proteins, while minimizing processed foods, refined sugars, and red meat. This dietary pattern as a whole has the strongest research evidence of any eating pattern for cardiovascular and vascular health. Vegetables and fruits provide the antioxidants and anti-inflammatory compounds that complement olive oil's vascular protective effects. Fish provides omega-3 fatty acids that reduce triglycerides and support endothelial function through mechanisms complementary to olive oil. The physical activity connection also deserves brief mention, because the combination of regular olive oil consumption and consistent moderate physical activity produces circulation benefits that are greater than either alone. Physical activity stimulates the endothelium to produce nitric oxide, promotes the growth of new small blood vessels in the muscles of the legs and feet, and supports the calf muscle pump mechanism that drives venous return from the lower legs. Extra virgin olive oil supports and maintains the endothelial capacity to respond to this exercise stimulus, meaning that people who consume it regularly may experience greater circulatory adaptation to physical activity than those who do not. Let's also spend time on something that connects the olive oil discussion to a broader understanding of what actually causes the vascular aging that produces poor leg circulation, because this deeper understanding reinforces why consistent daily use of the right oil is more than a minor dietary choice. The endothelium, that single-cell layer lining every blood vessel in the body, is often called the largest endocrine organ the body possesses, because it produces an extraordinary range of compounds that regulate blood vessel behavior, blood clotting, inflammation, and blood pressure. Nitric oxide, produced by endothelial cells in response to blood flow and various chemical signals, is the primary compound responsible for blood vessel dilation. In healthy young arteries, this system works smoothly and responsively. In aging arteries with reduced endothelial function, nitric oxide production is impaired, blood vessels are less able to dilate on demand, and peripheral circulation to the legs and feet becomes sluggish and insufficient. This is the core vascular problem behind the cold feet, the tired heavy legs, and the cramps that seniors experience, and it is precisely this endothelial nitric oxide production that extra virgin olive oil polyphenol have been found to support in multiple clinical studies. The concept of arterial stiffness is also central to understanding leg circulation in older adults and how olive oil addresses it. Young arteries have elastic walls that expand to accommodate the surge of blood from each heartbeat and then recoil to push blood forward. As arteries stiffen with age, they lose this elastic buffering capacity. Research measuring arterial stiffness has found that regular extra virgin olive oil consumption is associated with reduced arterial stiffness in older adults, meaning the arteries retain more of their youthful elastic behavior. This reduced stiffness translates directly into smoother, more consistent blood delivery to the peripheral circulation of the legs and feet. The interaction between olive oil polyphenol and the cells responsible for vascular repair is another dimension that is particularly relevant for seniors whose blood vessels have accumulated decades of wear. Research has found that olive oil polyphenol, particularly hydroxytyrosol, appear to support the survival and function of vascular progenitor cells, potentially supporting the endothelial repair process that keeps blood vessel walls healthy and functional. This cellular mechanism of action adds yet another layer to the explanation of why regular extra virgin olive oil consumption produces measurable improvements in vascular function over time. The connection between extra virgin olive oil and peripheral arterial disease, the specific condition most likely to cause severe leg circulation problems in seniors, is also worth discussing directly. Peripheral arterial disease occurs when atherosclerotic plaques narrow the arteries supplying the legs to the point where blood flow during physical activity is insufficient to meet the oxygen demands of the leg muscles. The same mechanisms through which extra virgin olive oil reduces atherosclerosis development, through anti-inflammatory effects, improved lipid profile, reduced platelet aggregation, and endothelial function support, are directly protective against the development and progression of peripheral arterial disease. Before we close, it is important to say clearly that while extra virgin olive oil is a genuine and research-supported tool for vascular and circulatory health, it is not a medical treatment for diagnosed peripheral arterial disease, venous insufficiency, or other serious circulatory conditions. These conditions require medical evaluation and management, and dietary changes are a supportive component of that management rather than a replacement for it. Anyone experiencing significant leg pain during walking, non-healing wounds on the lower legs or feet, severe swelling, or sudden changes in leg circulation should seek medical evaluation promptly rather than relying solely on dietary intervention. If this video gave you a specific, actionable change to make to your cooking and daily routine starting today, please share it with a senior you know who is dealing with circulation concerns in their legs, because this is exactly the kind of practical, research-backed information that most people managing this issue have never received clearly enough to actually use. If you found this video helpful, please like it and subscribe to Dr. William Hart Health for more videos like this every day.